All right, let's talk Pi Network because some really big things are happening right now. The ecosystem is actually pushing out two massive updates, basically at the same time, and both of them are designed to make the network stronger, smarter, and way more prepared for what's coming next.
So that kind of brings us to the big question, right? How in the world do you make a network stronger and smarter all at once? Well, Pi Network's answer lies in these two parallel upgrades, and we're going to break down exactly what they are and why they're such a big deal.
So here's the game plan. We'll start with how these two updates work together. Then, we're going to dig into the brand new Linux node, and after that, the huge jump to Protocol 23. From there, we'll get into how this completely flips the script for KYC before we tie it all together and figure out what it means for you.
At its heart, this is really a one-two punch. On one hand, you've got a major update to the basic infrastructure. And on the other, you've got a huge upgrade to the core protocol itself. By doing these at the same time, Pi is basically building a much stronger foundation for everything else.
Okay, first up, let's talk infrastructure, the official release of a Linux node. Now, nodes are the absolute backbone of any decentralized network, and this move makes that backbone way more powerful and open to everyone. And this is a pretty massive shift. Before, you had partners like exchanges running their own custom Linux setups. And as you can imagine, that could lead to inconsistencies and a lot of manual work to keep things updated. The new standard gives everyone official, standardized software. This means updates can be self-managed or even automatic. It's a huge step up for the stability of the whole network.
So who wins here? Well, pretty much everybody. For partners and services, they get that stable, standardized software they've been needing. But just as important, this was a huge request from the community. It opens the door for more tech-savvy pioneers and open-source developers to jump in and contribute directly to making the network better. So, the foundation is getting stronger. Now let's talk about making the network's brain smarter. And that brings us to the second major update, a huge upgrade to the protocol.
And believe me, this isn't some small tweak. The network is taking a massive leap, jumping all the way from protocol version 19 to version 23. A jump that big tells you a lot about how much is changing under the hood.
So what exactly is Protocol 23? Well, it's a custom protocol built specifically for Pi, but it cleverly borrows key upgrades from Stellar's protocol version 23. The most important thing for you to know is that this unlocks brand new layers of what the Pi blockchain can actually do, giving it way more functionality and control. Now don't worry, they're not just flipping a giant switch and hoping for the best. This is being rolled out super carefully, in stages. It's starting with Testnet 1 this week, and only when that's running smoothly will the upgrades move in phases to Testnet 2 and finally to the Mainnet. It's all about making sure everything is stable and tested. And speaking of that careful rollout, just a quick heads up, it's possible there will be some planned temporary service outages during all of this. This is totally normal for an upgrade of this size. It affects Pi's own services and partners as they work to get the new protocol integrated.
Okay, now for what might be the single biggest game changer that Protocol 23 enables. It's a fundamental shift in how Know Your Customer, or KYC, is handled. This is all about decentralizing trust itself. This quote right here, it says it all. Instead of KYC being this separate process that gives you access to the blockchain, KYC enforcement is going to be done by the blockchain. Think about that for a second. Compliance is moving from being an app on top of the network to being a core feature of the network itself. So how does this actually decentralize authority? Well, it's an evolution. Right now, Pi's native KYC solution is the one and only verifier. But with Protocol 23, the network itself gets the power to assign KYC authority to other trusted groups. This is how you open the door to a much more distributed and scalable system. And let's not lose sight of the incredible scale we're talking about here. Pi has already built one of the largest KYC verified networks on the planet, with over 14.82 million people already on the mainnet. This huge upgrade is being built on top of that amazing foundation. You know, what's really cool is that Pi has been working on this idea for years, and now the rest of the industry is starting to catch up. We're seeing new standards emerge like ERC 3643 on Ethereum, which is all about the same thing. Embedding identity and compliance right into public networks. Pi was way ahead of the curve on this one. Okay, so we've talked about the new Linux node and the big upgrade to Protocol 23. Let's pull the camera back and look at the big picture. How do these two things fit together, and what does it all mean for the future of the network? Here's how it all connects.
The Linux node gives the network a stronger, more stable, and more inclusive infrastructure. That's the resilient foundation for growth. Then, Protocol 23 delivers a smarter, more capable, and compliant network. That's what enables the vision of decentralized trust. The first makes the network stronger, the second makes it smarter.
And that really brings us to the final thought here. This isn't just a tech update, it's a change in philosophy. As Pi moves to decentralize not just its technology, but its authority, what kind of new possibilities does that unlock? What new things will be built by users and developers like you? That's the real question to watch as these upgrades go live. Thanks for joining me for this one.